Welcome back to my channel. So this video is just going to be about how I got into nursing school by passing my TEAS test and how I studied for 1 week and passed on my first go and used that first test score to get into nursing school. Yeah, so I'm just going to be telling you guys all the resources and the cheat sheet that I found last minute, that when I took the test, it was all of that was on the test, and I wish I could have just studied that. So I will be letting you guys know that. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so there are two main resources that I use that you probably have already heard about, that majority of people probably use as well, and I'm going to tell you just how they work for me, what I recommend them, etc. So the first one that I did immediately, and this is before I even started studying for the test, I ordered this book right here, the Mometrix ATI TEAS book, and I ordered it from Amazon. I went ahead and got it because I saw a lot of people saying that it was a good study resource, and I didn't want to spend lots of money, so I figured ordering a book, at least from what I thought ordering a book was the safest bet, because I just felt like I could get the most information out of a book versus trying to go online and see thousands of questions and thousands of everything. And let's be real, the hardest thing about studying for the TEAS test is not knowing specifically what to study, because there are different tests. You're not all gonna probably get the same test, and I've heard some people do get the same, some people don't. So I guess it just depends. Obviously I've only taken it one time, so I'm not sure, but I do know that this book in particular did help a lot. Would I go back and get it again? I would go back and get it again, because it was a nice refresher. And you can even see my notes are still in here. I put little notes in there and gave myself, like, today I'm going to do this part, and I'm more of a hands-on person, so holding the book, putting my phone aside and everything was helpful for me. I studied ELA and reading in this book the most. I do recommend the science portion. The portion that I studied the least was math. I skimmed through it. Like I said, I only had a week, so I focused on the subjects that I needed the most help with. So for this book, I used more of ELA, I used more of reading, and yeah. So my weaknesses were, I felt like math. I was so scared to even look at it. I didn't study that until last minute either, because I was just nervous, but I knew that majority of the test was science, and I'm really good at science. I know a lot about science, but I hadn't taken a chemistry class yet as far as college level, and I hadn't taken my second biology class, A&P. I hadn't took A&P 2, so that's what I was nervous about. And the resource that helped me the most with that was Nurse Hub. Nurse Hub has a free subscription, and I use the one. I think they have they don't have a free subscription, but they do give you 30 days free. And if you don't pass your test, they actually pay for you to retake your test. So I thought, win-win either way. If I fail, I fail. If I don't, at least I felt as though they were confident enough to even put that on their website, that maybe I should give it a shot and see how it works. So for me, on there, I would say, if you don't have the money to invest in Nurse Hub, go on their TikTok, and you can go on their website as well, and watch their TikTok videos. I studied those the most. I went and I had the subscription, so I had the opportunity to go all the way back to the furthest video that they had available, and I watched those. I listened to them while I cooked, while I cleaned, while I showered, while I was driving. I watched all of those videos, so I recommend watching those videos. I think they really helped me pass, but that was what I used the most. I barely touched the curriculum that they had for you to study as far as each subject. I really didn't touch that much, because honestly, majority of that was in this book right here. That's why I said I do recommend this book, because a lot of that information was on there. It does get more in details, but I promise that those TikTok videos that they go over help you a lot more. And for me, who only had that 1 week to study, and I was kind of all over the place, I didn't really know what exactly I didn't know that I should have known, and what I did know that I didn't need to restudy. So those TikTok videos help me the most. If you don't do anything else, watch those videos. And if you don't do anything else, order the book. If you don't order this book, just use all of Nurse Hub. Nurse Hub is really long. It's more so for somebody who has a longer time of studying. So if you do have that time, I do recommend it. And let me just say this. Before I tell you exactly how I studied each day, I do not recommend using just a week. I feel like I had a lot of memory from what I did learn prior to having to start studying for this test, which is weird, guys. I did not go straight into college, so it just so happened that I remembered a lot of the material. So for me, ELA, I just needed a refresher. For me, reading, I didn't study that. I barely studied it. I kind of went over it a little bit just to make sure that it wasn't different, but I didn't really study those things. I studied science the most, and Nurse Hub really helped with the science portion. They have so many tips and tricks. And this video isn't sponsored at all. Nurse Hub really did help me, and I'm just trying to help the girlies out so that you can get into nursing school, okay? So how I did it was, I believe I did like 3 days of science, and like every day I would study like the same thing, go over it, learn something new, and take notes of the tips and tricks. I didn't technically take notes of everything. I just kind of wrote down, okay, I need help in this area, I need help in this area, I don't know this enough. I did need a lot more help in anatomy, so I did make sure to have like a little chart, and they had really good pictures on the TikTok, so I would screenshot those, I would look at them and try to remember them, and then I would go to Nurse Up, their little site, and like take the little test. I would not go all over the website trying to find every single Quizlet and all of those things. I would not recommend that, but I do recommend finding your weaknesses and focusing on those things the most throughout the week. The last day I skimmed over math, y'all. I ended up knowing a lot more math than I thought. I don't know why I thought it was college algebra. I had just taken that class, so I was really more so like, oh my goodness, math. But y'all, it's high school math, like you can do it. It wasn't that hard. I would say science, if you're good at science, you're successful, you will be successful, especially with trying to study within that week time frame. But just, I would say, just focus on your weaknesses and take note of your weaknesses, and then obviously refresh yourself on things that you do know. But just repetition every day, y'all. I studied, and this, I'm being so honest with you guys, I studied from the time I woke up. I would do my morning routine, start a TikTok video for the Nurse Hub, and I would do that throughout the day, y'all. I did not take a break. I took a break to eat, but I was still listening to the TikTok videos. I would listen. I did see a couple YouTubers that talked about YouTubers and just so many different resources, but these resources helped me the most. Now, what I found last minute, literally the night before my test was in the morning, was this Quizlet. I started watching TikToks and just trying to see who did pass and what they used and what really helped them, what was really on that test. Sorry, the sun, I'm using the sunlight right now, and it is okay. Anyways, so sorry about the glare. Oh my goodness, whatever, as long as you guys can see me. This Quizlet I found, they put me on the TikTok, on social media. I looked it up, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now, the name of it, it helped me the most. All of these questions that were on the Quizlet were on my TEAS test, and when I tell you, because I had just went over them, it was on my mind. I knew the answers. So, and also the Nurse Hub curriculum that they have, a lot of those questions are on there as well. So let me just say that, and they are verbatim, same way. So if you go over them a lot, if you have time, go over them a lot, and you'll just memorize it. I feel like the TEAS test is more so of what you already know, but knowing, if you do practice questions, you will succeed. I promise that. So the Quizlet that I used was Laura 84104, her profile. And if you go on there, and I'm looking at it right now, y'all. So she is still on there. It's multiple questions, and they were all on there. I was so blessed, and I felt lucky to have found it, because I went over them right before, even when I was logging into my test. I was studying, y'all. I was studying because I had only studied for a week, y'all. So I was studying, and let me just say, it wasn't even really a full 7 days. It was like the end of the week, and you know, I procrastinated, yeah, and I don't recommend it, but yeah. That profile, I'm not sure if it's if it's her page or his page. I don't know whose page it is. Laura is a girl name to me, but that page, that profile gave me most of my answers, y'all, and I passed that test. So, and I was stressing, y'all, and when I started to see those questions that were just on that Quizlet, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a video and I'm gonna tell everyone to go study that Quizlet. Now, you do have to study it, so it's not like it's giving you all the answers, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you could have your phone or write down all the questions and have it on the TEAS test. It's proctored, so you do have to study it, but I do recommend studying that along with the other resources, because you do need to have some knowledge for the 1 or 2 questions that may not have been on that Quizlet. So I just want to say that majority of the questions that were on that Quizlet were there. So for me, because I didn't know what to study and didn't know how I was going to go, and I was really nervous and I really needed to pass this test, the deadline for the deadline to give my TEAS test to the school was, I didn't have time to retake it. I also didn't want to spend the money to retake it. So for me, I would have rebought the book. I would have redid the Nurse Hub. But luckily, if you do pass in 1 week, you get the free Nurse Hub. So the free 30 days, because you didn't study for 30 days. You didn't need it for 30 days. So you get to have a free trial, and you got to see all the videos. This is something I should have said at the beginning of the video. But my score was 78%. So that was my TEAS test score. And yeah, that I really just wanted to help out anybody who was like me and did not know what to study and was all over the place. Y'all, I have not had that much experience in college. As far as taking college classes for nursing, I've taken, you know, like ELA and, you know, the classes that are not that important yet. I did take chemistry, I did take algebra, but the basics is what you need. And I do recommend knowing A and P, but I promise, if you just go through these things that I'm telling you, you will pass. You might even pass with more than me if you have more knowledge than me. If you are more fresh out of high school, you may have more knowledge than me. Even if you've already taken classes to get, like for me, I'm starting with LPN school, so I didn't need all of those classes in order to get into LPN school. But if you're going to straight into nursing school and you've already taken all of your, you know, you've taken 2 years of classes or 1 year classes, however many classes you had to take, or if you've already taken those, you definitely most likely pass with a higher score, because you know a little bit more. It's more fresh on your mind. But I did this, and I hadn't taken anything but chemistry and algebra recently, and I didn't do that well in algebra. You know, I passed just barely enough to have what I needed to get into the nursing school, and I'm just not good at math, but I'm good at science. I'm good at every other subject, but math, that's my weakness. So although I didn't study that as much, it was pretty much basics. It was pretty much high school. It was pretty much, you can catch on as long as you're studying and you are intentional with your studies, you will pass and you will succeed. Don't stress it too much. I know it sounds, you know, you can say it and then it's like, yeah, but you've already taken your test. You know, I've taken my test, so of course I can say that. But if I watched this video, if I saw me speaking and telling all these tips and tricks and I used it and I passed, I promise you, you can too. I don't recommend studying for a week, but it is what it is. If you do, good luck on your test. And that's pretty much it. If you do have any questions, I'm gonna link the Quizlet in the description below, and I'm gonna link the book if you want to go to. I'm most likely just gonna put the name of the book, that way you know exactly what book I used. I don't know if it matters which book. I know they have different versions. I used this one specifically, so you can use the same one I used, or you may find that another one after you do research might be better. I don't know. This is the one I used. And then Nurse Hub, I'll also put that in the description below. It's hyped, y'all, but I would most likely give that a shot as well in nursing school, because I've heard that it works, and it worked for me for this TEAS test. So the test isn't long. It's it's not super hard. I've heard people say that that test is hard. Maybe if you're trying to get 100%, and trust me, I needed the best score to get into nursing school, because I really wanted to get in there. I'm lucky that I got in with the score that I do have. I think the minimum was 65%, but yeah, I hope you guys passed your test, and I hope that it really helped you. I'm gonna put that Quizlet, I'm gonna put the book, I'm gonna put Nurse Hub all in the description below. That way you can try to use the same resources I did and see if it helps you. And if you do pass with what I helped you with, it would be nice if you comment down below and say I passed. Just come back, check in, and let us know that you did pass. And good luck with your nursing path. I think you take the TEAS for another career path as well, but whatever you're taking the TEAS test for, I hope that you have a good journey and that you pass everything and you get it done, because this is just the first step, y'all. I know it. I know that it's going to be challenges along the way, so why not help those so that we can all win, right? But that's it, the end of this video. Again, if you have any questions, you can comment them, or I will have my social media down below. If you feel more comfortable, just DM me or something, and I'll try to respond to the questions. And I think I've been looking up this entire time. I'll set it down. But anyways, I hope the information helps you, and that's all.